welcome back to TENGRIDOME. Finally, I am alone, back on my goddamn show, and not turning someone else's show into an episode of TENGRIDOME. If you are listening to this on YouTube and are confused what the hell I'm talking about, I've been interrupting the analytical process of our other content producers, namely Christian and Silas of the Forbidden Technique podcast. You may find their show on, you may find their show on the Foresight podcast network. And this takes me into a couple of announcements that I want to get out of the way really quickly. We're in the middle of a fairly big restructuring that is that's been a long time coming. Starting out, I mean, obviously this has been basically an amateur from start to finish. And this is not an intentional reference to Ben Cohen's new show where he interviews amateur MMA fighters. What I'm referring to, however, is how sloppily we've been running this operation, and I want to tighten up some screws, and most of the team agrees with me, and we're going to start with the restructuring of the Patreon. The way we did it before was the higher the tier, the more benefits you get in terms of customization, so you can make requests. After a certain point, you may request like a full-length article on a subject of your choosing, or a video breakdown also on the subject of your choosing. And that's just kind of unrealistic. Providing videos and full-length, like long articles, long in-depth articles every month, when it's like 7 or 6 of us, yeah, no, sorry, ain't happening. What we're going to focus on is stuff that we can provide fairly consistently and at a reasonable level of quality. Stuff like alternate commentary, exclusive podcasts, and Q&As, and training advice videos, and so on. Basically, stuff that we can crank out, cram in as much useful content as possible into those pieces of content, and that's that. The request system will not go away. We're gonna set up a Ko-Fi, and you may be able. Not maybe. I'm sorry, I'm kind of drunk. It's just kind of regular occurrence these days. Sorry, just have to keep myself self-medicated. What we're going to set up is a commission system. We're going to have a commission system, and you'll be able to make requests, make a one-off payment. There's going to be a price list, and then you'll get what you're paying for. And that's we may still get quite a big backlog of requests, or at least I hope so. But it's still much more realistic than just offering the service that we're gonna allegedly provide every month and then just not deliver on. It's just kind of, it's kind of stupid. It's just unsustainable. Besides that, we're gonna launch a couple new YouTube channels. The first YouTube channel that's just called The Fight Side it's kind of cursed. It was first it was Ryan Wagner's channel. That has been converted into the Fight Side channel, and all this stuff has been this has been done way before my time. And when I came in, I was just, what the fuck are you guys doing? Anyway, so there was like videos of varying length, which the algorithm doesn't like, and there were like all sorts of different types of content, which also the algorithm doesn't really like. So we're gonna make specialized. YouTube channels, and this YouTube channel, I think, will continue being the podcast and commentary. Not commentary. Podcast and long discussion panel, long form content type stuff. The other one will be video breakdowns and other weird shit. And another one is I don't know, like vlogs, something. I don't know. Basically, we're gonna launch a new channel. Stay tuned. There's gonna be content on it. We're gonna try and tighten up release schedule with regards to articles and obviously Patreon releases, and there's going to be the Ko-Fi is going to serve as a tip jar and also like the place where you make commissions. We're also probably going to add a tip jar tier on the Patreon. So if you just want to support the website but have no time to catch up on the enormous backlog of content that we've released, that's the tier for you. Afterwards, if you feel like you have enough time to subscribe at the higher tier and nickle our stuff, then feel free. Anyway, bullshit out of the way. UFC Paris. Pretty okay, I'd say. I mean, after UFC London, which sets the bar basically in the earth score, that was an okay event. I quite enjoyed some of the fights on it, and not to faff about for too long. The main event, Cyril Gane, Tai Tuivasa, awesome heavyweight fight, and yes, you have heard me right. I enjoyed the fight. It was a heavyweight fight. It was a fight between it was a fight featuring Cyril Gane as the main star. Tai Tuivasa was there, the fat slob, and I really, really enjoyed the fight. Being honest, I was kind of rooting for Tai Tuivasa, and even though I call him a fat slob, I do this lovingly. You see, it's Tai Tuivasa's shtick. He's the fatty with the fast hands, and it's knock it up I've enjoyed for a number of years now, watching heavyweight fights. And Cyril Gane, people keep getting on my case with regards to Cyril Gane, like, oh, how come you can't admit that he's good? I do admit that he's good. He is a good heavyweight. Good heavyweight, which is like the important distinction, and they kind of want me to admit that he's just good, full stop. And I mean, Nathaniel Wood and Charles Jourdain fought on this cards, and like compare Tai Tuivasa versus Cyril Gane with this fight with Nathaniel Wood versus Jourdain, and then come back to me and tell me which one was more interesting in terms of techniques showcased. And that's how I kind of like gauge my enjoyment and how engaging the fight really is. I'm a technique nerd. I like technical stuff, and I still enjoy fighting, like raw, violent, sometimes even dumb fighting, but to a certain extent. And this fight met the necessary requirements. Both guys were doing reasonably understandable, smart things for their styles. Like early on, to get into breaking down the actual fight, Cyril Gane early on, I mean, credit where credit is due. Cyril Gane knows what he's good at, and he sticks to it. He has a process. He jabs you up. He doesn't let you collapse distance. Doesn't get into too many exchanges that are dangerous. So he just kind of builds up a lead. If the finish is there, he'll go for it. Otherwise, jabs, some low kicks, some body kicks, like a low line side kick, oblique kick. Easy decision. Done. Job's done. Going home. This time around, though, Tai Tuivasa came out with measured pressure, cutting the cage, corralling Cyril Gane into situations where he can clang him, using shifting entries to collapse distance quickly, using low kicks and using a bunch of feints here and there, threatening explosive entries to push Cyril Gane backwards. Cyril Gane has done a reasonable job of basically not gluing his butt to the fence for too long. He'd circle out. He'd recognize when his feet, when his back has hit the fence, and he'd circle out. He'd reposition. He'd try to regain the center, get back to his usual game. Tai Tuivasa would adjust. He would get right back to it, throw some low kicks, do a shifting entry, and if the shifting entry doesn't connect, he'd still threaten it. And they were doing stuff that makes sense. And Tai Tuivasa managed to catch Cyril Gane with one of those shifting entries and knock him down really badly. And Cyril Gane has admitted to that punch basically nearly putting him out, and that's very impressive. And Cyril Gane popped right back on his feet, woke up, went back to it, and started pouring it on with the body shots. Very, very good body shots, and consistent throughout the fights until the very finish. And that's something that I really enjoyed seeing. I've always said that Cyril Gane is a very nasty body kicker. He has quite a bit of pop on his body kicking. And in general, I would say, despite his style, Cyril Gane is still an enormous man and is very athletic. So he'd be able to, have a lot of sting in his shots, and that's what he showcased. So he went nuts with the body shots, hurt Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa grit his teeth, bit down on his gum shield, and came back swinging. Caught Cyril Gane with a counter left hook. Cyril Gane basically he was sent reeling. And he just stumbled backwards to the other side of the cage, and then it was like pandemonium from that point onwards. It was amazing. Obviously, Tai Tuivasa, not the best kicking defense. In fact, non-existent kicking defense against the middle kicks. Did not know what to do with the snap kicks, did not understand what to do with the sort of like a crescent kick to the gut that Cyril Gane kept throwing. Not exactly a crescent kick in the sense that he would like throw a faked roundhouse kick and then like sharply whip his knee around and connect with the instep to the gut. It was more like a sort of like a sneaky kind of like snap kick, but he would rotate his front foot so it connects with the belly, like toes pointed at an angle that would stab the toes into the belly, and that's what really hurt Tai Tuivasa. It's a neat looking kick. I like it. I like that technique. It's fun. But Tai Tuivasa did not know what to do with it. Did not try to like move laterally, did not try to catch the kick, did not try to move away from the kick. It just sort of like would just sort of stumble backwards, tank it, and then go ow. And still Tai Tuivasa would. That's the point where Tai Tuivasa's pressure kind of fell apart. Obviously, he got hurt very badly, and the way that he was able to grit out and tough out the sheer mind-numbing pain that you feel from getting kicked in the gut, it's kind of nuts. Tai Tuivasa, I mean, we all know that he's tough, but that's pretty ridiculous. That's kind of like Derek Lewis tier stuff, except unlike Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa would not play possum. He would just come back throwing bombs, which is just makes me respect him that much more. Obviously, Tai Tuivasa is like, he's not obligated to earn my respect, but yeah, it's both fighters kind of elevated my evaluation of them with this fight. Really enjoyed it. Anyway, Cyril Gane continues throwing body shots, corrals Tai Tuivasa with the body shots to the fence, and as Tai Tuivasa tries to rebound with one of his sort of like shifting entries, throwing them badonkadonks, swinging them bungalows. Cyril Gane finds this picture perfect, pivoting, sort of like not quite uppercut, not quite a rear hook, but it comes from underneath and spins Tai Tuivasa's jaw around, and Tai Tuivasa is sent reeling back into the fence, and then Cyril Gane throws like a nasty left hook and then followed up with a right hand, then a really uncalled for hammer fist to the brainstem, followed by another left hand. But yeah, in any case, Tai Tuivasa comes down. Now, as much as I enjoyed that fight, the only thing that soured my impression of the fight was the hammer fist to the brainstem. And as Michael Bisping actually admitted it on the broadcast, maybe unwittingly, he went like, "Oh, what a nasty finishing sequence! Oh, hammer fist to the brainstem," and sort of trailed off, and there was a silence there. Yeah, the reason why punches to the back of the head are banned and illegal, and I don't know, it's a tricky situation. It's a tricky in this particular instance, it's tricky. It's like, do you punish Cyril Gane after that performance with a disqualification? Do you take away a point? Like, what would that change? Tai Tuivasa is still knocked out. However, it's just the precedent of these. You see that a lot of the time, like punches to the back of the head are rarely punished to harshly. The fighters get warned to watch the back of the head, and the fighters mostly comply with that. But in finishing sequences, when guys just like Mark Hunt kind of liked doing that, as much as I like Mark Hunt, that particular habit of his I did not enjoy, which is like elbows to the brainstem, which he would sometimes employ. And the reason why punches to the back of the head are so dangerous is that it's such a sensitive, vulnerable spot. The brainstem controls basically your everything. And forgive me, I do not have the medical knowledge. I'm not like medically trained or like have really precise knowledge of biology, but I seem to recall that the back of the head, the back side of your brain, is responsible for controlling your vision. I think that's what I seem to remember, at least. If you know otherwise, correct me in the comments or like reach out to me and correct me. I would really, in any case, I would probably look it up anyway at some point. I'm just kind of tipsy right now, so can't be asked. But yeah, I assume that most of you have experienced like. I assume most of you have fallen, like slipped maybe, and fallen like head first and hit the back of your head on on the floor or pavements or whatever else. And I assume most of you have felt very dizzy for at least a couple seconds, if not more. Like as a child, I fell off sort of like a gymnastics exercise bench. I forget what you call it in English. The like automatic rodeo looking thing, except it's static. I don't know. Does that make sense? Anyway, basically it's pretty tall, and so we were performing like some athletics on it for some reason during PT. And as I was jumping, something wrong happened, and my hand slipped. Maybe it was slick from sweat or something. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I slipped and I fell backwards, and like there was a bench somewhat nearby, and I hit the back of my head on the angle, like the angle part of the bench, the one that your hips rest on. So I hit it, and my vision went completely black, and I was really dizzy for like at least a couple moments. Thankfully, like no considerable long-lasting effects as far as I can tell, but obviously can't be too sure about that. The only other thing that I can point towards my intelligence level these days is my drink habit. Anyway, cheers. So, strikes to the back of the head. I want you to look up, obviously you can do it later, but the one thing that I want you to look up is there's a YouTube video called Brain Damage in Boxing, and one of the examples presented is Gerald McClellan. And there was a fight between Gerald McClellan and Nigel Benn. There's lots of shady history connected to that fight. Obviously, the main person involved behind the fights is one Mr. King, naturally, of course. And so the story of the fight goes like this. So Nigel Benn, there's like lots of negligent reffing in that fight, and McClellan almost finished Nigel Benn in one of the rounds, one of the early rounds. Can't remember which one it was. The ref somehow interrupted the finishing sequence, and following after that, Nigel Benn connected with a bunch of rabbit punches that were not penalized or addressed by the referee. And afterwards, you could see Gerald McClellan try and clear stars from his vision, like blinking rapidly, sort of like kind of shaking his head, not understanding what the fuck is happening. And then, after getting hurt really badly, there's a standing 8 count. I'm sorry, it wasn't a standing 8 count. After a certain point, McClellan took a knee. He took a knee several times. And after the second time when he took a knee, the ref counted him out. And after the fight was over, just straight up quoting Wikipedia now, you can just look up the story of the fight. So McClellan stood up, walked to his corner, and sat down on the canvas, leaned against the ring apron, but while being attended to by ring physicians, slumped onto his back and lost consciousness. Subsequently, McClellan was strapped to a stretcher and rushed to the hospital. Had an emergency surgery to remove a blood clot from his brain, spent 11 days in a coma, and was found to have suffered extensive brain damage. Lost his eyesight, the ability to walk unassisted, and was reported as being 80% deaf. In addition to being blind, his short-term memory was profoundly affected. His 3 sisters, particularly Lisa McClellan, were left responsible for his care. Afterwards, the boxing world pretty much abandoned McClellan. There were attempts at a fundraiser for treatment and care and such, but as far as I can remember, they were unsuccessful. I think Roy Jones Jr. was at the forefront of that effort, but anyway. I'm not Kyle MacLachlan to be able to remember trivia like that. Either way, horrendous case and an example of how dangerous hits to the back of the head really are. And I don't know. Should Cyril Gane be penalized for this particular instance? As far as I can tell, Tai Tuivasa is perfectly fine. If this becomes a continued behavior exhibited by Cyril Gane in other fights, I'd say then we might want to take a look at what exactly is either being taught at the gym or what he's like doing in the cage. Like, is it deliberate or maybe? And it's my pet theory, since Cyril Gane's ability to throw the straight right is so inconsistent, or like a rear punch in general. I think he's just uncomfortable with throwing strikes straight, hence the numerous occasions where he throws himself way out of position going for these rainbow overhands. So in this particular sequence, he probably just got overexcited and in comes the hammerfist to the brainstem. Either way, not pretty. Obviously, congratulations for the win. Great urgency, getting back from the knockdown, good durability, good recovery. Still something I'm not entirely comfortable with. And it's more of an overarching institutional issue, I would say, than really like a consistent fault with Cyril Gane. Even though there was also that Junior Dos Santos finish, where Junior Dos Santos that Junior Dos Santos is still trying to overturn. It was kind of marginal. It was kind of behind the ear, but still not entirely to the back of the head. So, sorry JDS, probably not gonna work out. Overturning results is generally like a pain in the ass. Rarely works out. In this case, I don't think JDS has much of a case Don't think he has much of a case anyhow. Anyway, Cyril Gane, I say, as if he can hear me right now, as if this is information that can reach Cyril Gane. Watch out for that stuff. Kind of rein yourself in a little bit, you know. Learn how to throw straight punches consistently, which is especially weird. Like, you know, the knockout came from one of the best shots of Cyril Gane's career, and admittedly, it's a very short career. And to be fair, like, it's kind of crazy that he's improved this fast, but regardless, that was a really, really good shot, and then followed up immediately by like this weird fucking swing after connecting with really good, technically proper shots. I don't know. Moving on. Robert Whittaker, Styles and Marvin Vittori. Easy work for Whittaker. Also benefited by the fact that it was over 3 rounds, so Whittaker just can pile on some volume and then job's done, which is what he did. Nearly finished Vettori, by the way, a couple of times. Very impressive, given Vettori's track record of being unbreakable. And in this fight, Vettori genuinely looked like... genuinely looked defeated. Very unfamiliar look for Vettori to me, and unused to seeing him like this. Unused to seeing him like this. Send an email to my web zone if you think drunk Tengridome is better than, or worse than normal Tengridome. Anyway, so usual stuff from both fighters, par for the course really. However, Whittaker just too good, too slick. 1-1-2s on point. Coming back to front kicks, which is something that he kind of moved away for a while. Sapped Vettori's energy, obviously. Jabs, 1-2s, 1-1-2s, left hook on point, defense on point. Vettori very timid. Made Vettori very timid. Important distinction. So, takes Vettori down easily in the last round. Like slickest, easiest double in quite a while for Robert Whittaker. And yeah, I don't know, not much to say about this fight. Whittaker fucking whipped Vettori's ass, and that's that. The usual Whittaker staple supply. Good footwork on the outside, L steps, circling out when necessary, using counter jabs, intercepting left hooks, 1-1-2s on the retreat, like the Whittaker special, the high kick, all there. Nice. Very nice comfy fight. Wouldn't say that it was the best Whittaker fight in terms of like how high octane entertainment or Whittaker output on behalf of Whittaker, I should say. But still, solid performance. Whittaker looked in good form. Not sure what's next for Vettori. I don't know. Not sure what's next for Whittaker either. I guess fight Costa, I guess. I mean, who else is there? I mean, third fight with Adesanya? Don't want to see it. Fight Costa. Afterwards, maybe like drub a couple more contenders and maybe call it a career. I don't know. Obviously doesn't look like Whittaker is slowing down any, or has slowed down any. Looked in good form this time around. It's just that the division is kind of... I mean, who the fuck else is there? It's just him and Adesanya. Fighting Adesanya 5 times in a row doesn't like seem very interesting, but maybe he'll be able to Marat Grigorian himself into a win. Okay. Kind of feels weird not dedicating a lot of time to a Whittaker fight. It's just that kind of we already know Whittaker inside and out and what he does well, and he did everything that he does well to Marvin Vettori, and that's very impressive. It's very fun. Nasruddin Imamov versus Joaquin Buckley. Imamov stopped Buckley. Buckley kinda... I don't know, is Buckley done? He's still pretty young, but his decision making and he had his 5 seconds of fame with the crazy kick. Then he got crazy kicked himself, and now he's on this rough stretch. What else can you say? Roman Kapilov, Alessio Di Chirico. I only watched the finish. I wasn't very interested in that fight. Kapilov knocked out Di Chirico. That's that. Gomes, Aaron's, one judge hilariously scored that fight at 10-10, which is, I'm not sure if it's a correct score, but either way, I respect that judge very much. Hats off. Stick to your guns. Gomes' stance is fucking disgusting. Someone needs to slap him. Someone needs to kick him in the legs. If he doesn't adjust it, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll hire one of those snipers from the sniper tunnels in Chicago. Nathaniel Wood, Charles Jourdain. The real main event of the evening for me. Very, very impressive performance by Nathaniel Wood. I was kind of fearful as to Nathaniel Wood's performance against bigger featherweights, but then again, Jourdain is not exactly a huge featherweight himself. By the way, Miguel Glass, a new addition to the Fight Eye team that we brought on board, we brought him on board as a writer, and what a writer he is. First week, not a couple of days passed with the Fight Site, already released one of his pieces, his first piece, I should say, a breakdown of Charles Jourdain's clinch work against Shane Burgos. Despite the fact that he lost the fight against Shane Burgos, he still demonstrated some really, really good looks in the clinch and some really great infighting. However, what makes Nathaniel Wood's performance, and I even have notes, for the first time, TENGRIDOME has freaking notes written with a pen on paper. Is that how you say it, paper? Maybe it's paper. I don't know. So, immediately out of the gate, Nathaniel Wood looks fucking on. He's turned on, he's sharp, connecting with sharp combinations, sharp 1-1-2s, throwaway 1-1-2s into snap kicks. Great looks. Catches Jourdain somewhat like, not cold, but kind of off guard. Able to connect. Jourdain himself is able to kind of get Wood's timing fairly quickly and responds with his own volume combinations, but Nathaniel Wood's high guard was very, very good this fight. He was very disciplined, intercepting uppercuts, like catching hooks on the guard, letting punches skim off the top of his head, kind of turning the elbow inwards so the uppercut hits the elbow. Very nasty. Very good defense, very good proactive looks. Jabs, dipping jabs, kind of like inside slips, outside slips, just great boxing all around. And in round 1, at minute 40, Wood gets Jourdain with a hard right of what seems to be a mistimed teep attempt. I don't know, kind of looks like Nathaniel Wood tries to draw out a front kick out of Jourdain, and Jourdain, like, basically the bottom line is that Jourdain was on one leg and got hurt really badly and kind of like, went skittering about on the cage while Nathaniel Wood tried to chase him down. But to Jourdain's credit, recovered very quickly, started retaliating, and tied up and started trying to do his clinch work, trying to get single collar tie, like trying to get collar ties, underhooks, overhooks, dominant head positioning, and it turns out Wood's better in the clinch. Who fucking knew? I'm not familiar enough with Nathaniel Wood to say if whether or not it was a skill that was present throughout his career. If it is, then that's impressive. If it's something that he prepared specifically for this fight, that's even more impressive. Because every time Jourdain tried to establish dominant head positioning, Nathaniel Wood would beat him to the dominant head positioning. Every time Jourdain tried to set up a combination from the inside, Nathaniel would be Nathaniel would be wise to that and intercept the punches with his guards, or maybe adjust his positioning in the clinch a little bit, dip his weight to the side, dip his weight to the other side, mess with Jourdain's balance and trip him easily at will throughout the fight. Really nice trips. And the thing that you see commonly with people attempting trips in MMA is that they attempt trips too high. Yeah, they kind of like try to sort of like almost low kick the leg out. Meanwhile, what Nathaniel Wood does is kind of like he would adjust his opponent's weight, and then as the weight is dipping to one side, he would just kind of push his instep against the other person's foot. And that's how you get a nice trip. That's how you get a nice, smooth trip, and that's how he got them throughout the fight. Very nice foot placement and very nice like balance in the stance. A lot of people's problem in the clinch is breaking the stance. either going to like basically automatically people start going front-footed, started sort of walking in the clinch instead of digging in. You dig in with your feet and you get dominant head positioning by shoving the top of your head underneath the other person's chin, and you push with your weight against them. And that's what Wood did. And Jourdain tried to attempt to pummel and re-establish better positioning in the clinch, but Nathaniel Wood would just beat him to the positions. He would bait underhooks to instead, like he would bait an underhook in a way that would give him his own underhook. It wouldn't be Jourdain's underhook this time around. It would be Wood's overhook. That kind of stuff. Really clever. And before the end of the first round, with 24 seconds remaining in the round, Wood hurts Jourdain again with a left hook around the guard. Just really nice, really sort of like long left hook that circles around the guard and clatters Jourdain on the jaw or on the temple. I can't recall which, but either way, Jourdain's hurt. And there is a sequence where Wood, instead of like Jourdain would secure the clinch, and Jourdain would try to retaliate with his own trips, and he would get a couple, I think, in that fight, which is just kind of to emphasize that this fight wasn't like a complete shutout. It was still a competitive fight, clear win for Wood, but still an interesting fight. It's not like Jourdain was outclassed or looked bad. Wood just came better prepared with specific, really good tools that allowed him to win the fight. And the one problem, though, I noticed with Jourdain is that his guard was completely like it's just a flaccid, tepid guard. Like he would have half-assedly tie his legs together and not do much else. Would not attempt to hip escape. His hips were basically dead. He would just kind of when you look at when you try to evaluate bottom games, the one thing that you should try and look at, pay attention to the way the hips move from the guy on bottom. The guy on bottom, if he has a good bottom game, he would be constantly wriggling around, trying to hip escape, trying to put his feet on the opponent's hips, try to re-guard, try to get butterfly hooks, try to get a knee shield in, try to lace the leg to go for a sweep. Basically, the legs will be active. They would not just be, one leg goes on top of the other leg, and that's oh my god, and yeah, ref is not doing much. What are you gonna do? This is boring. I want to get up. Ref, please stand me up. And that's kind of what Jourdain did in the beginning of the fight a couple times. Yeah, did not enjoy that look from Jourdain. At least if you re-guard, like get a tight guard and not just kind of hug the opponent with your legs. Yeah, not a good look on the ground. So in the middle, like there was a sequence where Jourdain would try to get to the infight and unload with hooks, and Nathaniel Wood, he beat Jourdain to the punch and hooked within Jourdain's hooks, and that's like 1950s boxer shit. Absolutely love that sequence. Really great, really good stuff. If you want to infight, the one thing that you want to maintain is like, if you're smaller, use that. Get within the range of your opponent. Hook and punch within your opponent's punches and mess with their range and hit them from unexpected angles. And Wood has done that brilliantly throughout the fight. There was also instances where he would bait kicks out of Jourdain and kick the standing leg, punt it out, and Jourdain would topple over, and Wood would be able to secure top position. Just really, I mean, what can I say? Excellent performance by Nathaniel Wood. Lots of really neat sequences in that fight, and I would really enjoy to make. I would really like to make alternate commentary for that fight. I would enjoy that just to point out all the nitty gritty little things happening in that fight. It's just really nice, and I would probably put it up on Patreon. Maybe I'll rope Silas and Christian into it as usual these days. Kind of becoming the new Fight Side team with regards to MMA. Just me, Christian, and Silas vibing. Me interrupting with the process. Just going nuts on the mic. Anyway. So, Abus Magomedov nukes Dustin Stoltzfus in 19 seconds. Not much to say there. Just right out at the gate, front kicks Stoltzfus in the face. Or I guess it's Stoltzfus because he's American, I don't know. It says here that he's German born, so I guess it's Stoltzfus. Nasrat Haqparast wins a decision over John Makdessi. Wasn't very engaged by that fight, kind of skipped it. Fares Ziam looked much improved compared to his previous outings against Michal Figlak. One of the Discord patrons suggested that he was looking juicy. Looking very juicy, looking much stronger than previously. But regardless, massive improvements by Ziam. Great 1-1-2s on the retreat. Very strong in grappling. Some nice high crotches there. Could be a byproduct of Michal Figlak kind of being a bit of a blank slate. Nonetheless, there were not a lot of things that I would be harsh on Ziam for, outside of perhaps ring cutting. Not ring cutting. Ringcraft. Putting himself on the cage. Standing with his back flat against the fence. Not a good thing to do at featherweight. Featherweight is a pretty... It's a pretty... Oh no, this was lightweight. Still... Lightweight is where guys are now becoming wise to the whole fans dynamic. After all, it was Khabib's division, so some guys now could be wise to that. Still has a long way to go. I would say his boxing looks sharp. Fucking sharp. And as I said, strong in wrestling, good takedown defense, good takedowns on the offense. Nice body lock trips, body lock throws. Just overall, good performance. Kind of overperformed compared to his previous outings, I would say. Then Benoit Saint-Denis, Gabriel Miranda. For some reason, I have very extensive notes on that fight. Maybe that's because I was it was early in the evening and I was still pretty with it and not drunk enough. So I'm just going to list off the notes that I wrote down watching this fight live. Stiff striking. Self-evident. Both fighters not exactly like natural strikers in any way. Really like slow, ugly punches with not much defense. Both guys getting hurt and dropped by very slow-looking punches that look more like lariats than straight punches. No wrestling. Both guys flopped to their back too easily. Also self-evident. Either pulling out or just kind of conceding the takedown and then trying to get up from there. Saint-Denis unable to pass guard. Very frustrating watching that live. It was very frustrating to me. Miranda had an open guard, and Saint-Denis had a lot of trouble clearing those legs. Miranda hangs in the pocket and lets Saint-Denis drop him. Saint-Denis kicks from way too close. And it's something that I think he just generally kicks very poorly, and I think that's the reason why he fucked up his foot by the end of the fight. Saint-Denis controls from side control, but unable to mount offense, stands up so he can use his bad striking to beat Miranda's even worse striking. Drops Miranda, who again flops to his back, near finish. Slow as molasses, Sandini kills Chinny Miranda, and Sandini busted his own foot kicking badly. That's it. That's my notes. Not very extensive, but still, by my standards, that's quite a lot. Okay, Christian Quinones versus Khalid Taha. Short notice opponent change. Khalid Taha was scheduled to fight someone else, and that someone else is Lapillus. Taylor Lapillus. So, obviously, could be a factor there. Regardless, Quinones out of the gate with solid jabs and 1-2s. Taha struggles with range. Nice lead high kick to discourage head movement. Taha, as the smaller guy, wants to get in range and perhaps slip the jab, because Quinones is very jabby. So, good look there. Taha attempts blitzing in, squares himself up doing so. Quinones lines him up for a great counter right. End of notes. Really, that was a really pretty punch, by the way. It's like it's kind of like reminded me of back on my Soviet boxer spiel again. Reminded me of how Soviet boxers would train out fighting. You would use the retreating jab as a counter jab. You bait the opponent to come into you, and you throw a hard, jolting jab as you are on the retreat. And this forces your opponent to try and close the distance more quickly. And in an MMA context, if you add high kicks to that, you would discourage them from trying to slip the jab. Which means, if they square themselves up by coming in too explosively, too quickly, there's the right hand. You step back, bam, clank them on the chin, that's that. And that's what happened. Really nice finish, really nice fight, I'd say. Would really enjoy seeing more of Quinones' boxing coming, moving forward, for fuck's sake. Stephanie Aga, Ellen Perez didn't watch that one. Sorry. It may have been good. I know that it was a submission, but didn't feel like it. Didn't feel like it because I hate women, minorities, hugely misogynistic. But what can you do? I'm a gamer by nature. That's I guess that's it. Kind of unexpected. I kind of wanted to get to nerd out over techniques more, but I apologize. I just realized that getting too in depth would be redundant with some of the fights that happened. But regardless, how I would evaluate UFC Paris, not great, not terrible. Overall, good. It's a solid event. Some good fights on there. Watch the good fights. Skip everything else. That's it. Much better than UFC London, obviously. And as the first UFC event in France, I would say that was a success. Some of the French fighters that were showcased in there, wouldn't hold too much hope for them. Not. Obviously, MMA was banned in France for quite a while, so they have a long way to go. And there's certainly lots of things to improve. Cyril Gane, by far, the best French fighter on the card. Okay, so some plugs. As stated, look forward to the restructuring on the fight site. Look forward to more content on the front page of the website, which is thefight-site.com. We already have a piece coming up. It's going to be a piece about Hakeem Dawodu, also written by our newest edition. And what an edition it is, I must say again, Miguel Class. I gave it a read, obviously, because I'm the editor, and it was an article. Really good article. Look forward to that. And so as to the content that's going to be coming up from now on, we're going to try and restart our production of video breakdowns. Probably going to be focusing on the UFC, because the UFC doesn't seem to be as hell-bent on handing out DMCAs and copyright strikes willy-nilly as other promotions are. which is just strange to me because smaller promotions probably would be interested in free marketing provided by the showcasing of the fighters on the roster by analysts telling other people why the fighters are cool. But here we are. A lot of the previous channel received a lot of copyright strikes from PFL and Bellator for breakdowns of PFL and Bellator fighters, which is extremely annoying, but we want to restart the channel, and because YouTube hates necroing channels. They dislike necromants. They dislike when channels get restarted after a long period of inactivity, so might want to give another channel a go. So stay tuned for more updates regarding that. And regarding the Patreon tiers, there's going to be a press release, I think. I'm going to explain the new tiers in a post. We will probably put it up on the website. Beyond that, again, I have to... It's not a plug, it's just me saying that my situation's supremely fucked up. So for now, the things are fairly quiet, but back home, things are not looking great. Not looking great. There's stuff like patriotic education being instituted in elementary schools all across the country, where children are educated in why they must hate Ukraine and why Putin is the new god, stuff like that. And I'm not exaggerating, by the way. That's literally what's happening. The information blockade is getting worse. Thankfully, I am out of the country as of this moment, and as I've said before. And the newest major update is that me and Ben have got in contact with an attorney that could probably get me and my wife US visas. And it's going to be work visas, and it's going to cost a fucking shit ton of money. And we've set up a Ko-Fi where you can donate. Anything fucking helps, literally anything at this point. Where we need a large sum of money to pay for the legal fees, and we need a large sum of money to actually fly there and get housing for the first couple of months at least before I find employment. So far the amount that we've gathered would allow me to pay for the first half of the legal fees, the first third, I should say, of the legal fees. Then we should pay the other third, and then the other third is just government fees. So about 10k all in all, which is a lot of fucking money. And obviously I understand if things are a bit tight for you at the moment. Things are tight for everyone, and obviously there's people in Ukraine being shelled as of this moment. So if you want to donate to them instead of me, feel free to do so. More power to you. In fact, I support that decision wholeheartedly. People who need more help than me should get that help. It's just that if you're willing to help me out while you're at it, then that would be much appreciated. After all, if 100 people bands together and sends me $10 each, that's already $1,000, which brings us that much closer to the goal of establishing a new, better life for... Well, primarily for my wife, honestly. Obviously, I would like to live a normal life and be happy with my spouse, but I still have family back home, and things are deteriorating fairly rapidly. And I would like to get him out as soon as possible, and in order to get them out, I would need to start earning a lot of money very quickly. For that, I would need to immigrate to a place where I could start earning a lot of money very quickly, at least by Russian standards. And the bar is not very high, because... I used to get $400 per month from the website, and I used to be able to live like a fairly well-off Russian citizen, you know? It just put things into perspective. So yeah, if you're willing to help out, please do. You're not just going to be helping me out, you're going to be helping a lot of people out. You're going to be helping my wife out, who also has folks back home, and you would be helping us start the process to... maybe figure out how to get them out as well. Or at least send them financial help. With that out of the way, I'm going to link all the stuff in the description, no worries. You don't need to seek for it. actively seek it out. And there's also another TENGRIDOME episode that I want to record, and I'm not sure whether to make it a Patreon exclusive yet, or like a TENGRIDOME bonus, like the fake martial artists one, or like something like that. It's prompted by a discussion on the Fight Eye Discord with one of the patrons. It's kind of has ties to the discussion panel that we recorded a number of months ago on toughness in combat sports and what does it mean to be tough in combat sports. We sort of deconstruct the idea, come up with precise definitions for what is a very loaded term. And it's a discussion that the new discussion kind of ties into the idea of savage mountain men and trauma and hardship, and how hardship allegedly turns you into a tougher person and is actually good for you. And it kind of also ties into my own situation. So the topic kind of hit close to home. So I would really like to enjoy exploring it further, more in depth. What a life. Just feels surreal to kind of get back to talking about fights while still in the middle of fleeing an oppressive government currently at war. But what are you gonna do? Still gotta earn my bread somehow. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope this wasn't like too surface level compared to some of the other episodes. It's just that, as stated, I didn't want to get too redundant with my analysis. And I hope I wasn't too incoherent for you, because I am very drunk right now. Anyway, before I say any more stupid shit, this was TENGRIDOME, your usual host Iggy. Stay tuned for more content coming up on the website, on the Patreon, and everywhere else. Cheers.